Hi there, welcome to Let's Talk Books, Summer 2018 edition. We're going to focus on young adult lit books that you can read on the beach, or if you're like me and you go back to work early in August, that you wish you were able to read on the beach before your kiddos came back. My name is Mandy Peterson. I am currently the librarian at Schuyler Central High School. Here's how I know what books are coming out and the quality that they happen to contain. I am on Twitter, pretty active social media usage. I follow many publishers and authors. We also follow Epic Reads, which is fantastic book promotion. They have all kinds of quizzes, posters, just fun cover reveals. I've been able to contact them to see if I could print out some of their posters and use them for promotion in the library as well. And they are fantastic to work with. Cannot recommend them enough. I'm also on NetGalley, where you get to read and review books before they come out. And through NetGalley, I've been able to forge some pretty great relationships with publishers. So, before I start, especially with this particular book, I'm going to check out a little bit of a pronunciation blankie. So I may not get all the names right because often when I see something, it's the first time I'm reading it and it's on paper. So I've never heard it before. I will do my best, but please forgive any mispronunciations that you may encounter throughout our day today. All right. Final Draft was really near and dear to my heart because I have been on both sides of this as a creative writing teacher and a person who enjoys creative writing. If you have a patron who's very interested in that, I would get this book in their hand. It's very challenging. 18-year-old Layla enjoys the peril that she writes for the characters in her series. She writes epic sci-fi worlds full of quests, forbidden love, and robots. Her creative writing teacher has always told her she has a special talent. But 3 months before her graduation, he dies suddenly. And he is replaced by a Pulitzer Prize winning novelist who is sadistically critical and perpetually unimpressed. At first, her new teacher's eccentric assignments seem absurd, but before long, Layla grows obsessed with gaining the woman's approval. Soon, Layla is hiking through the Catskills during a thunderstorm in March and discovering the highs and lows of instability. Dr. Nazarenko has led Layla to believe that she must choose between perfection and sanity, but rejecting her all-powerful mentor may be the only way for Layla to thrive. First off, I love, love, love this cover. How beautiful is that? And that's going to grab our patrons straight off the bat. To add to that, the story is actually completely worth reading, and that excites me. When you get an awesome cover and a fantastic book together, it makes my heart happy. Indy Ferguson has done her best to live by her Grammy's rules. Study hard in school, be respectful, and never let a boy take advantage of her. But it hasn't always been easy, especially while living in her mother's shadow. When Indy is sent to live with distant relatives in Nassau, trouble follows her. Now she must hide an unwanted pregnancy from her aunt, who would rather throw Indy out onto the street than see the truth. Completely broke with only a hand-me-down pregnancy book as a resource, Indy desperately looks for a safe space to call home. After stumbling upon a yoga retreat, she wonders if perhaps she's found the right place. But Indy is about to discover that home is much bigger than just four walls and a roof. It's about the people she chooses to share it with. I am a sucker for anthologies, and this one in particular has some of my favorite diverse voices right now in young adult lit. This is a partnership with We Need Diverse Books, and these authors are coming together to feature 10 short stories, a graphic short story, and a one-act play from Walter Dean Myers that was never before in print. The book's description is: careful, you're holding fresh ink, and not hot off the press, still drying in your hands ink. Instead, you're holding 12 stories with endings that are still being written, whose next chapters are up to you. Because these stories are meant to be read and shared. This collection will inspire you to break conventions, bend the rules, and color outside the lines. All you need is fresh ink. This is a very contemporary, modern collection. And when I read anthologies, I always appreciate when there is a break from the traditional short story format. So the graphic short story and the one act play are beautiful breaths of fresh air that are desperately needed as you're gobbling up the stories in this book. Teddy Sharp is kind of famous. He might actually be on his way to being really famous. There's just one problem. He totally blew the audition, and he's stuck in a tiny North Carolina airport, and his maybe ex girlfriend just kind of broke up with him. The weekend isn't exactly looking good until Bennett Caldwell, author of the very book series he just auditioned for, takes pity on him and invites him to her family's lake house. Away from the glitz and glam of Hollywood for a few days, Teddy starts to relax, and somehow he and Bennett just click. But dating is hard enough when you aren't the subject of several dozen fan blogs, and the internet is full of juicy gossip about Teddy and Bennett. Gossip that Bennett might not be prepared to handle. So if you have a patron who's like me, or if you're like me, and you really are enjoying this movement to adapt every young adult book into a movie, I found this to be very interesting. And I'm not normally a romance person, but I feel like in this book it just works. Maybe it's because I liked the subject matter so much. Chemistry lessons. This is actually written by an advice columnist, Meredith Goldstein. For 17-year-old Maya, the equation for happiness is simple. A dream internship at MIT, plus two new science nerd friends, plus a perfect boyfriend equals one amazing summer. Then wit dumps her out of the blue. Maya is miserable until she discovers that her scientist mother, before she died, was conducting research on manipulating pheromones to enhance human attraction. If Maya can finish her mother's work, maybe she can get wit back. But when her experiment creates chaos in her love life, she realizes maybe love and loss can't be understood using the scientific method. School Library Journal did a wonderful review on this book where they recommended it for purchases for libraries with a romance fiction following, especially Sarah Dessen. As I was looking through this book, I thought it also had a very interesting take on consent, because that is such an important topic and a hot topic I always look for in books to see how it is handled. I thought this was really unique, especially when you're talking about manipulating scientific pheromones and how that applies. So, interesting take that has a lot of appeal for your romance folks. What You Left Me. This is being touted as If I Stay meets While You Were Sleeping. It's told in dual perspectives, and it's about these two characters, Martin and Petra. They meet for the first time at graduation, even though they've been in the same high school for 4 years. They've never crossed paths that they can remember. They have an instant connection the moment they're seated next to each other at the commencement ceremony. Then a car accident puts Martin into a coma, and Petra is somehow left picking up the pieces, using family, friends, and shared dreams to keep their surprise connection going. Together, they must unlock the truth of his situation, and with time running out, their bond becomes Martin's best shot at waking back up to the life he's left behind. The future will be BS free. I have to really be careful. I'm going to follow the script on this because I read this book and I have an awful lot to say about it. Uh, and if I begin, we may be here for the whole time just talking about the future will be BS free. Suffice it to say that I will be purchasing this for my school library just to see what kind of conversations it starts. So, this is a terrifyingly timely tale for fans of The Eye of Mines. It's about Putin-esque near future America, near future, not super far into the future. There's a gifted and talented high school has just eliminated their computer and technology program. Sam and his friends have been using their unexpected free time to work on a tiny, undetectable, utterly reliable lie detector. They're all in it for the money at first, except for Theo, their visionary. For Theo, it's about creating a better world, a BS-free world where no one can lie and honesty will thrive. Just when they finish the prototype and turn down an offer to sell their brainchild to a huge mystery corporation, Theo is found dead, hit by a car. Greedy companies, corrupt privatized police, and even the president herself will stop at nothing to steal the Truth app, which is what they call their device. Sam sets his sights on exposing all lies and holding everyone accountable. But he and his friends quickly realize the cost of a BS free world, the lives of loved ones, and political and economic stability. They now face a difficult question. Is the world capable of operating without lies, or are lies what hold it together? There's another added bonus in this book of talking about disabled veterans. They, in this version of the future, have actually made them bionic, and when their bionics break down and the government elects not to repair them, what happens when they are then again disabled? Lots of good side stories in this. I think it'll spark a lot of interesting conversations among you and your patrons. Blood Will Out. This is like a Silence of the Lambs, but for young adults. Ari Sullivan is alive for now. She wakes up at the bottom of a cistern, confused, injured, and alone, with only shadowy recollection of a low-pitched voice and a gloved hand. No one can hear her scream. And the person who put her there is coming back. The killer is planning a gruesome masterpiece, a fairy tale of innocence and blood meticulously designed. Told in alternating perspectives of predator and prey, Blood Will Out is a gripping and terrifying read. So if you like a little scary in your life, go for it. Not the girls you're looking for. Lulu Saad doesn't need your advice, thank you very much. She's got her 3 best friends, and nothing can stop her from conquering the known world. Sure, for half a minute, she thought she'd nearly drowned a cute guy at a party, but he was totally faking it. And fine, yes, she caused a scene during Ramadan. It's all under control. Except maybe this time she's done a little more damage than she realizes. And if Lulu can find her way out of this mess soon, she'll have to do more than repair friendships, family alliances, and wet clothing. She'll have to go looking for herself. Debut author Amina May Safi's honest and smart novel is about how easy it can be to hurt those around you, even if, especially if, you love them. This is another book where the cover design is absolutely perfect. You take a peek at it and you know exactly what it's about. Something is wrong with Marianne. It's not just that her parents have split up or that life hasn't been the same since she quit dancing or even that her mother has checked herself into the hospital. She's losing time, doing things she would never do, and objects around her seem to break whenever she comes close. Something is after her. But a first attempt at exorcism calls down the full force of the thing's rage. It demands Marianne give back what she stole, and Marianne must uncover the truth that lies beneath it all before the nightmare can take what it thinks it's owed, leaving Marianne trapped in the darkness on the other side. This book actually reminds me quite a bit of Amy Lukovic's, but it has a slightly different tone to it. Not quite sure how to describe it. A more mature tone without being crass. I know I've already said it once, but I am a sucker for an anthology. I love short stories, and Toil and Trouble is perfectly timed. It's coming out right before your kids are going to start getting into Halloween fever, and this is a bold, powerful, diverse collection of short stories. There's contemporary stories, historical, futuristic, featuring these witchy heroines who are diverse in race, class, sexuality, religion, geography, and era. Good witches and bad witches, witches who are a bit of both. These are quality stories, and if you're a fan of any of the authors, I actually recommend you skip ahead to their short story first. I had a very difficult time waiting to read some of my favorites, and then I was able to relax and enjoy the other stories on my way. If you look at this cover, it actually reminds me a lot of Jenny Hand's old books, and I don't think that that's a coincidence. One summer will challenge everything the Garrett sisters thought they knew about themselves and each other in this captivating new novel by Jessica Spotswood. As the oldest, Des shoulders a lot of responsibility for her family and their independent bookstore, except it's hard to dream big when she's so busy taking care of everyone else. Vi has a crush on the girl next door. It makes her happy and nervous. But Cece has a boyfriend, so it's not like her feelings could ever be reciprocated, right? Kat lands the lead in the community theater's summer play, but the drama spills off stage when her ex and his new girlfriend are cast too. Bee and her boyfriend are heading off to college together in the fall, just like they planned when they started dating. But Bee isn't sure she wants the same things as when she was 13. Told through four alternating points of view, one for each sister, readers will laugh, cry, and fall in love alongside of the Garrett girls. One of the strengths of this book is since it does have a diverse cast of characters, they will be able to identify with at least one of the sisters on some level. And that really makes the book hit home and very interesting. Adele Griffin is back with Tell Me No Lies. Lizzie Swift is a senior in high school, emerging from her nerdy chrysalis to become a social butterfly. She's dating Matt Ashley, the boy who's been out of her reach since freshman year. Her bold, reckless new friend Claire Reynolds introduces her to Center City, Philadelphia, clubs, street life, and the eye-opening art scene. And her Ivy League ambitions take a back seat to nights of partying, dancing, and dating. But almost as quickly, the heady delight of Lizzie's new life is clouded by doubts and deceptions. While she has a special connection with Matt, it's not the perfect romance she dreamed of. Claire carries around a mysterious sadness and talks about a breakup so bad that she changed schools, but she won't tell Lizzie the whole story. Lizzie wants Claire to confide in her, even as she keeps her own embarrassing secrets from her new best friend. Will the truth come to light before it's too late for Lizzie, Claire, and Matt to save their love and friendships? From humble beginnings as an outsider, growing up one of the few Chinese students at her primary school in Ireland, to YouTube stardom and her own line of beauty products, Lizzie Sang, aka Bubs Beauty, has earned a unique perspective that she's shared with her nearly 3 million YouTube subscribers. Lindy details her childhood, her family, the ups and downs, and most importantly, the lessons that she's learned along the way. So if you don't know who Lindy Sang is, or Bub's Beauty, the patrons in your library for certain will. You may want to, as you're displaying this book, let them know that that is Bub's Beauty, just with a little sign or bookmark that's placed in there. And this book will go flying off the shelves. Simone Elkless is back with another series. I cannot keep this lady on the shelves in my library, so I'm really glad to have something new to add in there. To escape his abusive stepdad, bad boy Ryan Hess runs from his tiny Texas border town to Mexico. But his plans to keep his head down and stay out of trouble are shattered the minute he meets the beautiful and totally out of his league, Delilah Sandoval. Delilah Sandoval shouldn't even know someone like Ryan Hess. The daughter of one of the wealthiest lawyers in Mexico, Delilah is forced on studying and planning for her bright future. Ryan is only a distraction from her dreams, but she's never felt more alive than when she's by his side. They are wrong for each other in every way, yet they can't resist the sparks that fly when they're together. Will their love be strong enough to survive, or will it burn them both? This is an update of an older book. It's been on the YALSA Quick Picks nominations book list, the LA Rainbow book list, the YALSA Popular Paperbacks book list. With this update, it's a humorous, engaging, and honest guide that helps LGBT teens come out to friends and family, navigate their new social life, and figure out if a crush is also queer as they rise up against bigotry and homophobia. It includes personal stories as well from the authors and sidebars on queer history. This is the updated and revised version. It's a must read for any teen who thinks they might be queer or knows someone who is. I, as a teacher, highly recommend reading this if you are someone who works with teens on the regular. It helped me feel more prepared than I already felt to have these discussions with my patrons and empower them to embrace who they are. The Weight of a Thousand Feathers is perfect for people who enjoy reading Patrick Ness and Mallory Blackman. It tells just how far we will go for love. Funny how no one ever uses the word love when discussing my case. I do what I do because she's my mom. That's pure and simple. Bobby Seed is used to going the extra mile for the ones he loves, and he does it willingly. It's up to Bobby to get Mum for her pills. It's up to him to help her get her up the stairs, to laugh her out of her pain, to comfort his little brother Danny, to explain why Mum's not like the Mum they remember. One day, he's asked to go further. Mum asks him the big question, the one many would find unthinkable. If he agrees, he won't just be soothing her pain, he'll be helping to end it. Would he? Could he? In Stand Beautiful, international speaker and TEDx presenter Chloe Howard shares her story of overcoming injustice, battling self doubt, and rising up to speak out that was fueled by a powerful encounter with Bono from the band U2. Chloe's story shows that even though through brokenness and shame, we can venture towards hope, accept our unique selves, and share in our human experiences. Chloe boldly addresses the unlikely hero in each of us. Readers will be inspired to be brave, to speak out against injustice, and redefine beauty as more than what the eye can see. Chloe shares how faith enabled her to endure physical and emotional pain, spurring readers to delve into authenticity and stand beautiful. When displaying this book, I highly recommend putting either the link or QR code to her TED Talk on a bookmark. So then students can make that connection. They can see her TED Talk and perhaps be inspired to read the book. Or if they're already inspired to read the book, then they have easy access to her TED Talk as well, which is worthwhile. I always love having something unique about a book when I acquire it from my library, and Morgan Matson is signing all the first editions of this book available while supplies last. So that's always fun when you're able to market that to your students that it's signed by the author. I think it just brings a little something extra and special. This is being touted as Father of the Bride meets 16 Candles, so really, how could you mess with it? Charlie Grant's older sister is getting married this weekend at their family home, and Charlie can't wait. For the first time in years, all four of her older siblings will be under one roof. She is desperate for one last perfect weekend before the house is sold and everything changes. The house will be filled with jokes and games and laughs, making decisions about things like what college to attend and reuniting with long-standing crush Jessie Foster. All that can wait. She wants to focus on making the weekend perfect. The only problem, the weekend is shaping up to be an absolute disaster. There's an unexpected dog with a penchant for howling, house alarm that won't stop going off, and a paper girl with a grudge. There are relatives who aren't speaking, the awful girl her favorite brother brought home unannounced, and a missing tuxedo. Not to mention the neighbor who seems bent on sabotage and a storm that is bent on drenching everything. The justice of the peace is missing. The band will only play covers. The guests are all crazy. And the wedding planner's nephew is unexpectedly, distractingly cute. Over the course of 3 ridiculously chaotic days, Charlie will learn more than she ever guessed. This book made me laugh out loud. I hope you do take some time to read it. Wow. I don't think I could have planned this worse. We go from a great humorous fiction to something that's a little somber and hard-hitting. Little do we know is about next-door neighbors and ex-best friends Hannah and Emery. They haven't spoken in months, not since the fight, the one where they said the things that they can't take back. Now Emery is fine-tuning her UCLA Performing Arts application and trying to make the most of the months she has left with her boyfriend, Luke, before they head off on separate colleges. Meanwhile, Hannah's strong faith is shaken when her family's financial problems come to light, and she finds herself turning to unexpected places and people for answers to the difficult questions she's suddenly facing. No matter how much Hannah and Emery desperately want to bridge the 36 steps between their bedroom windows, they can't. Not anymore. Until their paths cross unexpectedly when one night Hannah finds Luke doubled over in his car outside of her house. In the aftermath of the accident, all three struggle to understand what happened in their own ways. But when a devastating secret about Hannah and Emery's argument ultimately comes to light, they must re-examine the things that they hold true. In alternating chapters, a skeptic and a believer piece together the story of their complex friendship with the help of the boy caught somewhere in the middle. Side note, I'm kind of glad to see paper quilling coming back on covers because I think it's gorgeous. That's just me. Now You See Her. This is a fast paced, thrilling mystery, a contemporary young adult novel about a high school girl who switches bodies with her tennis rival after an accident. And in order to get back to her own body, she has to unravel the secrets of their impossible connection. As a fan of movies like Freaky Friday, this book thrilled me. It's a different take, a little bit of a more somber take than Freaky Friday was. It does have its funny moments, but most of the time it just leaves you going, oh no. Amelia has always felt like happiness is a serve she can't return, a ball just out of reach. And now, in her senior year, right before tennis season, her mom wants to move again. Sophie has a perfectly curated Instagram ready life. From her first singles win to her hot long term boyfriend to the beautifully landscaped home where she lives with her parents, Sophie is everything Amelia wishes she could hate. But one night changes everything. When a man tries to abduct Amelia after her car breaks down during a storm, Amelia attempts to escape into oncoming traffic. And in one inexplicable moment, they switch bodies. Amelia wakes up in Sophie's body. Sophie's meh. Amelia wakes up in Sophie's body, and Amelia's body is in a coma. Now Amelia needs to find a way back into her own life, but first she must retrace her steps to unravel the mystery of the accident, her attempted abduction, and how it's all tied up to her mother's secret past. I'm sorry to do this to you again, but yes, I have another anthology. There's just so many good ones coming out this summer. This one includes star-crossed lovers, meddling immortals, feigned identities, battles of wits, dire warnings. It's all fairy tale and myth and folklore. And it's 15 authors reimagine folklore and mythology from East and South Asia in their short stories. In this collection, a mountain loses her heart, two sisters transform into birds to escape captivity, a young man learns the true meaning of sacrifice, a young woman takes up her mother's mantle and leads the dead to their final resting place. It's fantasy to science fiction to contemporary, from romance to tales of revenge. These stories will beguile readers from start to finish, and it does not fail to deliver. Even though the cover says as seen on Lifetime, I personally haven't seen this, but I did really enjoy reading this book. Pretty and popular, 17-year-old Brooke Emerson is the envy of her classmates and even some of her closest friends. But while she seems to have it all, Brooke has never felt so lost. Ever since she sustained a head injury due to a cheerleading stunt the previous year, she suffered from a disorder that causes her to fly into uncontrollable, sometimes violent rages. As hard as she tries to keep it together, she finds herself in danger of jeopardizing her seemingly perfect life. It isn't until Brooke meets Jake, a handsome and charismatic stranger, that she feels like she's found someone who not only understands her, but accepts her for who she is. As tempting as it is to get swept up in the romance, she can't help but feel like something in their relationship isn't quite right. When her best friend is brutally murdered, Brooke has no choice but to depend on her new love, especially because she worried that she might be the killer. Did you enjoy Heartless and Dorothy Must Die? If you did, this tale is a mishmash of Wicked meets The Little Mermaid, is how they're saying it. Wow, is all I have to say. I love a good villain, and this book follows the Sea Witch. Ever since her best friend Anna died, Evie has been an outcast in her small fishing town, hiding her talents, mourning her loss, drowning in her guilt. Then a girl with an uncanny resemblance to Anna appears on the shore, and the two girls catch the eyes of two charming princes. Suddenly, Evie feels like she might finally have a chance at her own happily ever after. But magic isn't kind, and her new friend harbors secrets of her own. She can't stay without Evie's help, and when Evie reaches deep into the power of her magic to save her friend's humanity and her prince's heart, she discovers too late what she's bargained away. This is such great timing for this book because there's a lot of buzz right now about the live action Little Mermaid movie that's coming out. I would definitely take advantage of that, especially if you're doing a summer or mermaid themed. You know what? There's a lot of YA mermaid books. You could totally do that. If you're doing a display themed on the summer or mermaids, this would be a fantastic addition. And I guarantee there has to be some patrons in your library who are like me and love a good villain. Heretics Anonymous reminded me quite a bit of Rapture Practice, and I know I'm throwing back a little bit on that. It was not a huge book that came out a few years ago. It's not for every patron, but your patrons who enjoy books that take everyday beliefs and throw a twist on them, they will love this book. And it's funny, which is fantastic. When Michael walks through the doors of Catholic school, things can't get much worse. His dad has just made the family move again, and Michael needs a friend. When a girl challenges their teacher in class, Michael thinks he might have found one, and a fellow atheist at that. Only this girl, Lucy, isn't just Catholic. She wants to be a priest. Lucy introduces Michael to other St. Clair's outcasts, and he officially joins Heretics Anonymous, where he can be an atheist, Lucy can be an outspoken feminist, Avi can be Jewish and gay, Max can wear whatever he wants, and Eden can practice paganism. Michael encourages the heretics to go from a secret society to rebels intent on exposing the school's hypocrisies one stunt at a time. But when Michael takes one mission too far, putting the other heretics at risk, he must decide whether to fight for his own freedom or rely on faith, whatever that means, in God, his friends, or himself. I know that for some, this cover and the description seem like they may be over the top, especially if you are in a religious community. The book actually does a fantastic job of demonstrating tolerance and understanding of people of all faiths, including the people who claim no faith, and the power of coming to your beliefs on your own. Sarah White. If you have a Wattpad sticker or bookmark, chuck it on this one. Sarah White is from Wattpad, just like our friend Natasha Preston. Mackenzie has been best friends with Nolan for as long as she can remember. She shared everything with him, from adventures with their families and days lounging at the beach, to long talks about their friends and her journey with type 1 diabetes. The only thing she hasn't shared is the fact that she's in love with him. Now, in their senior year of high school, Mackenzie and Nolan know that in a few short months, everything will change as they head off to different colleges. Determined to make the most of the time they still have left, they come up with a list of things they want to do together before graduation. But as they make their way through everything from toilet papering the school bully's house to having a backyard campout like the ones they had when they were kids, Mackenzie can't help feeling she's left with the most important thing: telling Nolan how she feels. Confessing her love could jeopardize the incredible relationship they already have. Is honesty really the best policy? Embry has secrets. Some are small, like the ones about her complicated past. Others are bigger, like her growing feelings for her best friend's ex-boyfriend, Holden. But the biggest secret she carries is about what they did at the abandoned Seacliff Inn and the resulting terrible fire. Embry helps a homeless man escape from the flames and is immediately hailed as a hero, but she knows that couldn't be further from the truth. Though she's racked with guilt, Embry thinks she can take one last secret to her grave. But then she receives an anonymous note. Someone else was there that night. Now she must respond to a series of threatening messages asking her to make impossible choices. Someone is playing a high-stakes game with her life, and their last move is murder. Now, it's a very dramatic intro, but this is reminiscent of Pretty Little Liars. So if you had patrons who really enjoyed the Pretty Little Liars series, whether it was the television series, the book series, or maybe they were too young and they missed it, but you think that they might. This book would be a good bridge and something that they would enjoy reading and they would find highly original. Swoon Reads. This is a publisher that, if you are in young adult lit and you are not already following, you should jump right on their bandwagon. Start following them on social media. They came up with this cover through actually voting on social media, and they had many to choose from. I remember being involved in this because there was a really hot debate about the model that they chose for the cover. And some people were saying, yay, representation, and others felt like it was too in their face. All I know is that some of my patrons are going to see themselves on this cover, and that's all that really matters to me. If they pick up the book, they're going to find something that represents them, but that's also a great story that encompasses many real life issues. Savannah is dreading being home alone with her overbearing mother after her big sister goes off to college. But if she can't get through her senior year, she'll just be able to escape to go off to college too. But what does. Wow, that's a nightmare. Savannah is dreading being home alone with her overbearing mother after her sister leaves for college. But if she can get through her senior year, she'll be able to escape to college too. What she doesn't count on is that her mother's obsession with weight has only grown deeper since her appearance on an extreme weight loss show. And now her mom is pressuring her even harder to be constantly mindful of what she eats. Between her mom's diet helicoptering, missing her sister, and worrying about her future, Savvy has enough to worry about. And then she meets George, the cute new kid at school who has insecurities of his own. As the two grow closer, they help each other discover how to live in the moment and enjoy the here and now before it disappears. To Be Honest is another sharp, witty novel from Maggie Ann Martin about a spunky heroine who is dealing with very real issues: body image, parental pressure, loneliness, first love, and finding your way, with heart and humor. The Forest Queen. Oh, look at that cover! You're going to have people immediately who walk right up to this one and they know that this book is for them. If you need further reference, fans of Marissa Meyer and Sarah J. Maas will love The Forest Queen. When 16-year-old Sylvie's brother takes over management of their family's vast estates, Sylvie feels powerless to stop his abuse of the local commoners. Her dearest friend asks her to run away to the woods with him, and soon a host of other villagers join them. Together, they form their own community and fight to right the wrongs perpetuated by the king, her brother, and his noblemen. Perfect for fans of fairy tale retellings or anyone who loves a strong female lead, this gorgeously written take on Robin Hood goes beyond the original's focus on economic justice to explore love, gender, the healing power of nature, and what it means to be a family. Okay, that's all. But I think the squee does it, right? Also coming out in August, Murder Trending. This has quite a bit, as you could surmise from the title, of social media formatting. So that is going to make ebook formatting less than friendly, as I discovered. And I imagine it's going to be a beautiful print edition, though. Welcome to the near future, where good and honest citizens can enjoy watching the executions of society's most infamous convicted felons, streaming live on the Postman app from the suburbanized prison island Alcatraz 2.0. When 17-year-old Dee Guerrero wakes up in a haze lying on the ground of a dimly lit warehouse, she realizes she's about to be the next victim of the app. Knowing hardened criminals are getting a taste of their own medicine in this place is one thing, but Dee refuses to roll over and die for a heinous crime she didn't commit. Can Dee and her newly formed posse, the Death Row Breakfast Club, prove she's innocent before she ends up wrongfully murdered for the world to see? Or will the Postman's cast of executioners kill them off one by one? So this is part mystery, part thriller, lots of catch your breath moments included in this book, and it's a great way to talk about what we perceive as reality versus what may be true as well. At this point, I have to believe that you've heard of Fox. It's kind of the hot new young adult fantasy novel that's coming out. Thomas Fox was turned into stone, and the only cure to the stone plague is to join his father's plot to assassinate the King of England. Keepers think the igniters caused the plague. Igniters think the keepers did it, but all Thomas knows is the stone plague infected his eye and it is spreading. If he doesn't do something soon, he'll be a lifeless statue. So when his keeper father, Guy Fawkes, invites him to join the gunpowder plot, claiming it will put an end to the plague, Thomas is in. Here's the plan. Use 36 barrels of gunpowder to blow up the Igniter King. The problem? Doing so will destroy the family of the girl Thomas loves. But backing out of the plot will send his father and the other plotters to the gallows. To save one, Thomas will lose the other. No matter Thomas's choice, one thing is clear. Once the decision is made and the color masks have been put on, there's no turning back. All right. Well, I hope you found something great that you can put into your beach bag and something great that you can bring back to your patrons. Happy reading. I'll see you in the fall.